We've got one big garden chore today. It's a small chore, but we've got a lot to do, and that's deadheading. There's a lot of deadheading to be done on both of these green stalks and plenty of stuff in all of the other areas of the garden. So let's get to it and let's talk about why it's so important. Let's start with these nasturtiums. We've got plenty of blooms that are spent as well as new ones that are coming in. And when we deadhead flowers like this, it's going to encourage more blooming. I'm also, while I'm here, going to just take care of these yellowing leaves. These leaves are yellow, I am fairly certain, because we've had a ton of rain the last 2 weeks. I mean, I haven't had to water a single thing because it's been raining almost every day. My rain gauge tells me that we've had over 4 inches of rain in the last week and a half. So that's too much water for these flowers. So I'm just going to cut off any of the flowers that have already been spent. They've bloomed, they've had their time in the sun, and this will encourage the plant to make more flowers. So if I leave them on here, they're going to eventually form seeds. And once the seeds form, the plant thinks, well, my work is done here, and it'll stop producing flowers. But we want this to bloom as much as possible. We want this to be covered in blooms all summer long. And by taking off these yellow leaves, the plant won't waste any energy trying to support them when they're already on their way out. And if you're wondering why I'm using safety scissors today, it's simple. I misplaced my snips, so I don't know where they are right now. So we're improvising. Look at this. This is from that heavy rain. Just pulled one of my cosmos right down. We'll be deadheading the cosmos as well. This is the part of gardening that is those little tedious things that you don't have to do it, but if you want a certain level of flowering, it's something that you have to do. And since this green stalk is 100% for the aesthetics, I need to do this because it's just it's for the looks. I planted it to be pretty, so I need to maintain it so it stays pretty. Now the cosmos might be a little bit of a challenge because they're above my head, but I'm just going to do the ones that are easy. This is already a branching kind of flower, and so as I deadhead and cut off the spent flowers, it's just going to encourage it to branch more. So I'm actually not sure how much I want that to happen because it's going to start looking real wild here pretty soon. And it's already getting there. And of course, I do want to at some point leave some of these on so that I can save the seed. This is a really nice blend. This purple and pink. There's a couple of white ones in here too that are just really stunning. And I think next spring, instead of growing them in the green stalk, I think I'm going to put them out in one of my raised beds. So there's really no rhyme or reason to this one. I was pretty thorough with the nasturtium, but with these, I mean, gosh, there's so many. I just want to do enough to keep the plants blooming for another few weeks. That's the only goal here, is to encourage it to keep producing just for a few more weeks at least. I wasn't sure how these were going to do in the green stalk, but they have performed beautifully. This might be some of the best cosmos I've ever grown. I don't know if that has anything to do with the green stalk or this particular variety, but I think these seeds are already, they're about ready. So I'll keep these. I'd be here all night if I tried to deadhead every single spent bloom on here, but that is not today's goal. We're just doing a little bit of cleanup. And now with these cosmos, like with a lot of flowers, everywhere you prune or everywhere you cut, you're gonna get some branching and you'll get new blooms. And each pocket has, I don't know, at least 5 cosmos. Some of them probably have 6. Because I kind of just scattered and then I didn't go out and thin it out when they started to grow in. And I am happy with that decision because it looks better than I expected. Couple more and then I think I'm okay with how this is turning out. Now this green stalk has a lot of work to be done. This Indian paintbrush, pretty much all of them are spent, so I'm gonna snip them all. I've never grown this before, so I am hoping that I will get more blooms. That was a spider. I just cut the string, I didn't cut the spider. I'm hoping I'll get more blooms. The one thing I've noticed about this, I don't know if it's because of this particular flower, I've got a ton of aphids on it, and they found this flower very quickly. But so did the ladybugs. So I've got a ton of ladybugs over here too. Now the gazania, I have been deadheading these, at least early on I was, and it does encourage more blooming. So I definitely want to keep the gazania blooming all summer if possible. What I didn't know about these before I planted them, because this is my first season with gazania, is that they close up at night and then they open back up in the late morning, early afternoon. And all the leaves are looking really good. I think I'm also going to start some of these from seed next year because I definitely want to put them in some more spaces out in the raised bed garden. Now for these middle tiers, most of the kirigami oregano looks really good. There's just one that I need to prune some dying foliage from, but these verbena, I haven't deadhead a single one of these, and it's still blooming. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it now, and in hopes that it encourages more blooms, because I have really enjoyed how this looks. Even beside the bright blooms, the foliage is so lush and thick, and it really fills out this green stalk so nicely. But again, there are a ton of blooms on the verbena as well. So I'm just going to do enough in hopes that it tells the plant, hey, keep flowering. We're not done here. I mean, look at this color. It's just gorgeous. Yeah, this one doesn't have any new blooms on it, so I definitely need to take all of these spent ones. It's got a very small couple. Okay, looking good. And see right here, I don't know what happened to this one. It just dried up and crispy crunchy, and it's definitely getting more than enough water, so I'm not sure. But the rest of it looks really good. It's still just spring, but I'm already starting to think about what I want to plant in my fall garden. Is anybody else doing that right now? Haven't even gotten to your summer garden or your summer harvest from your spring garden, and you're already thinking about fall? I want to try another crop of corn. I've got corn growing right now, and I think I can eke out another sowing of it in late summer. I think I'm going to give it a try anyway. I always have kale and collards in my fall garden and carrots. But I want to try something new. So if you have any suggestions for your favorite fall plantings, put them in the comments. I'm really interested to hear what you guys are growing or planning on growing, thinking about growing. Actually, what's your dream like crop? Look at this guy. I don't know what kind of caterpillar that is. I've never seen one like that before. Or maybe I have, but just not that small. Yeah, what's your dream crop or plant that you want to grow? You haven't given it a try yet. Maybe you're a little intimidated. Maybe you're waiting on the right time, the right space. Let me know in the comments. All right, that looks really good. So the bottom few, I'm actually not going to attempt to deadhead these lobelia. They're just so small, and honestly, I'm not super invested in them. I wasn't blown away by them, but I will take care of this hot pink verbena while I'm down here. I have been seeing verbena at the nursery like every time I go, and I never wanted to pick it up before, but I'm so glad that I did add it to this green stalk because they're just super. I think next spring I'm gonna like really double down and get a couple more colors and maybe do an entire green stalk full of verbena. Maybe. Actually, I saw a hummingbird a couple weeks ago right on the red verbena. So I love being able to provide for the hummingbirds. I used to have feeders for the hummingbirds. Well, one summer I had feeders for the hummingbirds, but they fought over them so badly. And I felt bad that I put them in that situation. So I took them down. And now I just try to plant flowers that they seem to be gravitating towards. And the ones in our yard, at least, really like purple larkspur. So I always try to make sure I have some of that growing now. And they also like Mexican sunflower. And now that I've seen them at the red verbena, I'll be sure to plant plenty of that for them going forward. Also, tell me if it's just me. Have you guys had like aggressive encounters with hummingbirds? I don't know if I would call the behavior aggressive, but they they get really close to me if I'm out in the garden in the morning when they're like ready to go onto some flowers and eat. Yeah, they fly, they hover very close to me, like just a couple inches away from my head. And I'm not sure if they're saying, hey, move out the way because we're ready to eat, or if they're saying hi. But I always take it as get out of my way. No, that's good. Hey, have we made it back around? Not quite. Last one, I believe. Okay. Got some leaf miner damage on this verbena. Hmm. Quite a bit, actually. Interesting. The nasturtiums I have in this vertical planter haven't been doing that great. They're doing better, slowly but surely. But they're a different variety, actually, than the ones I have in the green stalk. So maybe that's why. But they're finally starting to put on some blooms. So they'll bloom soon. So let's do our best to give it a chance. I feel kind of bad cutting this back so much, but it's already dead. Again, way too much water lately. It's one of those things, you're super happy when it rains and your garden gets some good water, but there is absolutely such thing as too much of a good thing. And that's kind of where we are right now. We need a reprieve, a few drier days. So let's just pause and see how nice these zinnia look. Man, they're really going. I've got some pink ones up here. I think that's an apricot blend at the top, but they're starting to put on a show. Now, if I don't do anything else, it's going to be deadhead my snapdragons, and I'm really behind on the ones in this bed. They've already gone to seed, so I'm just going to shake this out, let those seeds fall out, and hopefully they reseed themselves. And usually they do, but the problem is I like to plant them right on the edge of my garden beds, and so usually when reseed, they reseed outside of the bed, and they really don't stand a chance that way because we mow inside here, so they usually get mowed down before they get a chance to bloom. One thing about deadheading snapdragon is that probably more than anything else in my garden, you see the fruits of your labor when you deadhead a snapdragon plant. They get so full and bushy. Hey girl, it's not a snack. These are not snacks. So let me take you to a couple that have really filled out. This pink snapdragon is doing amazing. And it is really coming along and becoming like that big, bushy look that I love. It's still not the biggest snapdragon I've had. And that's because while I do deadhead it, I don't spend as much time in this particular bed because the things here are growing a little bit slower. Um, so they don't need as much attention right now. But when I remember, I come over here and I deadhead. Because I love this like pastel pink color and I want it to get really, really big. Now this is my pride and joy. This is right in a bed that I spend a lot of time in, as well as the bed next door to it. So I often, often deadheaded, and this is the result. It pays off. And so as you can see, I've been a little bit neglectful of it. There's plenty of spires that need to go, but we'll handle that right now. And one thing about the snapdragons, especially this one, I've noticed, the bumblebees have a field day in here. And honestly, that's part of the reason I haven't been deadheading it lately, because every time I come out, it's full of bumblebees. And while I know that they can't sting me, I just don't want to get in their way. Like, who wants to be bothered while you're trying to enjoy a meal, you know?